Okay.
On the, says,
I
if you
just
have
didn't,
fur-
I couldn't hear you.
if you have further questions, please contact this office, and the office sent me 55 pages of this document, of what's going on here. So, excuse me? So the question, a couple things I want to bring up here is, there is a right-of-way. I'm at 18 Jacobs Avenue, and the house next to me is 20 Jacobs Avenue, and there is a right-of-way there. And I'm trying to understand from all these drawings, which I can read drawings because I'm a designer at one time. It's very hard to see the property lines and what they're trying to do here. But in the past, I know this may not be relevant here, but in the past, when we had circumstances like this, we met with the board member, Tom Walker, and we were good neighbors. We had a good relationship, and I was just wondering if the applicant here is going to have some kind of relationship with the abutters, or is this going to just be, our questions just going to be answered during these committee meetings? So I just want to know if there's a, do you understand that question?
Not totally. Right now, I mean, there is no developer here.
All right, let me
We're just
continue with the
looking at
next,
a
with the next
plan, so
issue. then.
I don't know who the developer is.
If indeed there is.
And,
Okay, my next question is, on this drawing, they show easements for the New England Power Company. I don't believe that's correct, all over this drawing. I believe it's National Grid. And I believe National Grid brought New England Power some years back, and so these drawings are not correct.
And
when
that
they- when-
will be resolved with the peer review. If there are discrepancies, they bring them to light and they fix them.
There's also a pond that forms to the northeast of the wetlands every time it rains, and they don't, 3 or 4 times a year at least, it's anywhere from 50 feet to 100 feet in diameter, that forms in the field northeast of the wetlands that they show right here.
Okay.
Where does the pond form? In that wide open area there?
Like in that area.
Right there.
Okay.
100-foot wall right here, 100-year wall. So I think somebody, maybe that should be identified as some kind of issue. Every time it does rain, it floods in that one spot. On the, also, on this area here, along the river, 3 or 4 times a year when there's a high tide and storm surge or low pressure system, the water comes over the banks and floods all the way up to there. Sometimes across the street, it floods into the Northeast Propane Company's parking lot too. So there's an issue, and that's not identified on this map as being an issue. The certificate we got here says the applicant is Adam Stein of Wind Development. So I guess my question is, he's not the owner of the property. The owner of the property, according to this document that I got from the town, is the New England Home for the Deaf, and it references Chuck Crush. And I guess I don't understand why Wind Development is involved in this at all if the owner is New England Home for the Deaf. Because Wind Development, if you look it up, and we did look it up, and I researched it with some other consultants, found out that they do affordable housing, and blah, blah, blah. I know it's not the subject of this meeting, but it is on your document that says Wind Development. And if you
You're right.
read their thing, it says affordable housing. So it opens up the question, why are they on this applicant as the applicant name when they're affordable housing only? So when you say, hey, people are speculating, they don't know, but when you see Wind Development, if you read their website, that's all they do is high-rise apartments, affordable housing all across the United States, and they're the largest builder of 40Bs in the United States.
Good point. Yep.
So there's a concern that the applicant is not the people who own the property, but a development corporation that does nothing but affordable housing, and they've opened themselves up to a question on the document that you provided. So the next question I have, wind development, they must know what's gonna go on here, they wouldn't be involved. And with the charter school going across the street from the bowling alley over there, there's gonna be all kinds of issues with traffic and all that kind of stuff, so you can imagine the neighbors are concerned when they see wind development. So you got charter school going across the street across from the bowling alley, and with Bishop Fenwick traffic, and if they're gonna if wind development says right here that, and their duty is affordable housing, is gonna put something up like that, there's no way we can control traffic unless they run it through the residential neighborhoods, which will be a disaster for the children and the people. And my final question on this map is, there's a right-of-way between 18 Jacobs Avenue and 20 Jacobs Avenue for the access for the National Grid. It shows on this map, it's New England Power, but it's not correct. Who owns that property? I can't tell the boundaries of, I've got a lot of maps in here, and it's really hard to tell the property lines that they're trying to distinguish on the wetlands. They don't even conclude the main building as part of their land when they issued this document here. I want to hold it up with the red squares. You must be familiar with this as part of the document. They don't even show their own property where the building is that they own. But the question I have is, the right-of-way from Jacobs Avenue, do they own that property, or is it just a right-of-way? Who owns that property? That runs right here. All the way to the street.
I can't answer that for you, and we can find out, but I don't know right now.
And then I heard somebody bring up my final comment is, I heard somebody bring up, she brought it up, the wildlife or rare wildlife thing. And the neighbors will tell you, no, we have foxes that live over here. This is not relevant to the wetlands for a second, but somebody did just bring up wildlife and rare wildlife.
Yeah, yeah.
The foxes live up in the hill section. The coyotes live in the wetlands. And there's this mice, groundhogs, and sort of stuff. But there's bald eagles that live in the wetlands and nest in there. And somebody told me, my consultant told me that the bald eagle is an endangered species. And he lives in that wetlands and he nests in there. And this area here that they plan on this applicant says, this guy, what his job is, that would endanger his food supply, because once you take out the mice and the groundhogs and everything, the bald eagles in there cannot survive. Those are my comments, and I hope they were relevant only because this applicant did say wind development, not the home of the deaf.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Do you mind if I answer a couple of those questions or concerns, or do you not want that right now?
Why don't we wait till the end?
I'm Owen Webb. I live at 152. I'm on the board over there. And I see a lot of neighbors. I think mostly what we're concerned about is, I believe we have an easement here. And if this were built upon somehow in this project, it would be disastrous for most of us because, well, a lot of us bought for the view. I know I did. So can you build in the blue area? Is that wetland or?
Well, it's riverfront area.
Okay.
And so there are certain regulations that you would have to meet to build in there. And that would be up to the commission to decide if the applicant has met those regulations and those standards that are set forth in the Wetlands Protection Act and the Danvers Wetland Bylaw.
Okay.
So if we don't meet those standards, then
Then
they would deny the project.
So, I guess this is a question for a further day. Who owns that bit of land right there?
I believe it's all New England Homes for the.
Is it? Okay.
Yes.
All right, I think that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank-
Anyone else?
Yeah.
Sir, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Bernie Mason, I live in 27 North Shore Ave. Just simply, if you approve this, then you're going, somebody will authorize construction above this blue line along that waterfront?
No, that's not what we're.
We are
No one's
so
even,
far away from
no
that.
one's even proposing that yet,
But
so,
that's.
No, today is just about saying that.
You're evaluating that though, right?
All we're evaluating, we're gonna hire a peer consultant to say, is the blue line in the right place? That's all we're talking about now. Are these colored lines marked appropriately based on flagging the wetland
So
resource
if someone
areas?
investigates the blue line and they want to move the blue line.
That has to
and
be,
meet your requirements.
yeah.
Then someone can build it.
No, they
Not
have to come
necessarily.
back.
no, we still have to approve the building. Right now, we're just trying to define, see the blue dash line right by your right hand?
Yeah.
We want to define, we're gonna have two groups of people, one's already done it, and we're gonna have someone else come in and verify that that line is where it should be. Down the road, we make our decisions based on distances from those lines.
Right. What those lines denote is the distance from the wetlands resource area. The red line being the 35-foot line, the orange one is 50-foot, the blue line is the 100-foot. And then because this is abutting a river as well, that green line is the 200-foot riverfront area. Anything that happens within that area falls under our jurisdiction, and if anything has to happen or wants to happen in that area, they have to file with us and get our approval, make their case, et cetera. All this meeting is to assure that those lines are placed appropriately. That's it. That's all this is today.
This is an ongoing.
This is
review.
step
It
one.
could take a while, so.
Absolutely.
Pack a lunch.
This is step 0 of an ongoing process.
Sir, did you have a question?
No, I think you kind of answered in the discussion.
Okay, anybody else?
We have 100 questions, but there's no answers.
Right.
Well, you can come back. It's a big room. We can accommodate you all.
And there are other boards.
Yeah.
This is just Concom.
Okay, so I think we need a motion to the effect that we authorize Georgia to solicit bids for
Peer
a peer
reviewer.
review. And
Will they update the maps?
to include the what?
Will they update these drawings to include the correct information?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have to submit drawings with a notice of intent.
Yeah.
And
This
before
is
they
a
do that,
preliminary
they'll
thing.
agree on those lines.
And if the easement language is incorrect, that will be updated. If the ownership language is incorrect, that will be updated after a thorough review.
Okay, good, thank you. All right, so if someone can make a motion that we get a peer review going?
Sure. Can I make a motion to put out a bid for a peer review for the ANRAD proposal for 154 Water Street, DEP file number 14-1388?
Yes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, good. Is there any old or new business, Georgia?
Or should we continue this hearing?
Oh, sure.
No, I thought you said when we voted that continued.
No, we'll vote to get the peer reviewer, but we need to vote
All
to
right, so
bring
it's,
this to the.
I'd
Okay,
like
so
to make
that-
a motion
go ahead.
to continue the hearing for 154 Water Street, DEP file number 14-1388
To 7:28.
to 7/28.
Does that work for you
Yep,
for now?
yep.
Okay.
7:28.
Are you
Will
gonna do
we
this?
have all the peer review done?
Not likely, but I think it's best to just do it for the, in the chance it does get
Okay,
done
that's fine.
expeditedly, we wouldn't have to wait.
Okay.
Okay. Do we
Second.
vote on that?
Second. Aye. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so the motion's been made, is there, and seconded,
seconded,
so all in
yep.
favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
Continue.
thank you, thank you all.
Thank you.
Is there any old or new business, Georgia, that we need to discuss?
No, but I will say for everyone in the audience, that meeting, this discussion was just continued to the meeting on July 28th. And what could that only gives them 2 weeks for me to hire an expert for the board and work with them. So it's likely will take longer than that. So please keep an eye out on the agenda online. I don't want all of you to come here and then have it not be discussed. So keep an eye on the agenda. My name's Georgia Pendergast. Feel free to call me as we get closer to the 28th and say what's going on. Should I come? Should I not? Okay?
Good,
Thanks, Georgia.
Thank you. Okay, someone can make a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Whoa, you fancy.
All in favor? Aye.
And no one seconded.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you all.
right.